And joining us now for more on this is the attorney, Ilan Wurman. He's representing a dozen Phoenix business owners who filed a lawsuit over this encampment. Why, Ilan, did the residents and businesses feel like they had to sue? How bad was it?
Well, it got really bad, and it actually got really bad a little bit before the pandemic. It got bad around 2018 and 2019 because in that time period, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, that's the federal appeals court for the West Coast, issued a decision in a case called Martin against City of Boise, where they said that it's unconstitutional to criminalize sleeping in public if there are insufficient shelter beds available for the entire unsheltered population. And we're not challenging that decision, just to be clear, we're not challenging that at all. But cities across the West Coast have used that decision as an excuse to abdicate the responsibility for the homelessness crisis. So after that decision, tents were passed out by advocates. That's when the encampments started to arise. And that's when the cities basically allowed these encampments to sprawl and to fester. And so, to be clear, we've had plaintiffs in this lawsuit who've been there in the zone since the 1940s. Since the 1940s. There wasn't a lawsuit until now.
Wait. Are you
and that's
saying
because
there
of the
homeless,
dramatic change.
Homeless people living in that encampment since the 1940s? I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood you.
Sorry for the miscommunication. I have plaintiffs whose families have been there or who have been there themselves.
The businesses.
So the property owners, the business owners.
Right.
Yes, they've been there for decades and they didn't sue until now. So what changed? It was this Ninth Circuit decision and the reaction of multiple cities on the West Coast, including Phoenix, to that decision.
Yeah, Ilan, you have described violence, gunshots, rampant drug use, tent fires, constant urinating and defecating. The conditions there in the zone sound apocalyptic.
And that's what the city itself says in their own document that we introduced at the trial in this case, their homelessness strategies report for 2020. They admit that the conditions in the zone constitute a biohazard. Their own cleanup crews come with security and with hazmat suits. Our plaintiffs, our homeowners, our property owners, they don't get hazmat suits, they don't get security, and yet they live there every day.
Several business owners say they've had to close their doors. They could not operate with this huge encampment. Obviously, people are not going to want to give their business and have to walk past this. And this frustration isn't limited to Phoenix. We all saw that video of the business owner in San Francisco spraying a homeless woman who would sit outside his store and he claimed harass his customers. He was widely condemned for spraying her, but you say this is all part of a growing trend of businesses around the country getting frustrated.
That's right. It happens everywhere, especially, though, in the West Coast since this Ninth Circuit decision. And so just to be clear, it's not just the defecation and urination, which is constant, but there are bullet holes in some of my plaintiffs' buildings because of the constant violence that occurs. I'm not saying murders happen every day, though they do happen occasionally, but there is constant violence. Just a few weeks ago, a 24-week-old fetus was burned on the street in the middle of the night. And so I think 2 weeks ago, another person was murdered, was put in a dumpster, and the dumpster was set on fire. And so violence is very real, and customers are afraid to park across the street and walk across the street to the sandwich shop. And so it's very, very difficult to do business, to hire people, and just to make a living.
Well, Ilan Wurman, I know the legal battle continues over these encampments, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more of these lawsuits popping up. It's becoming a huge issue in many cities. Thanks so much for being here tonight to talk about it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.